Hi Reddit. My name is Daniel. I'm 38. I live in Boston, working as a partner at a large investment firm. If you've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, no, it's not that glamorous, but the gist is the same: money, stress, endless deals, and adrenaline. But at home, I left that race at the door. At home, she was waiting for me. Her name was Nicole. We were together for 19 years. 19 years, Carl. We met in school when we were 19. I was a skinny nerd student working part-time at a coffee shop. She was an aspiring artist, always walking around with a sketchbook and paint stains on her jeans. She ordered a latte with almond milk and drew a funny cat wearing glasses on my paper napkin. I still have that napkin. I had that napkin. Nicole and I got married when we were 24. By then, we'd already lived together for 5 years, renting a tiny apartment in Cambridge where the radiators barely worked in winter and the AC only cooled the kitchen in summer. But we were happy. Nicole painted her pictures, which nobody bought back then. I was getting my MBA and working nights in tech support. We ate instant ramen, dreamed of a big house, and couldn't keep our hands off each other. The wedding was modest. Nicole insisted on it. She sewed her own dress, from antique lace she found at a flea market. I rented a suit. The ceremony was in the park, under the old oak tree where we first kissed. Only 20 guests, just family and closest friends. Nicole cried when she said her vows. I cried too. We both knew this was forever. The early years were hard. I was building my career, working 80-hour weeks, coming home after midnight. Nicole never complained. She waited, always with a hot dinner, always with a smile. She'd say, "You're building our future. I'll wait." She would paint, and I'd fall asleep in her lap to the sound of her voice reading aloud. Then came the kids. No, not right away. First, there were attempts, years of trying, hospitals, tests, tears. Doctors said, "You're healthy, just need time." Time passed, but nothing happened. Nicole blamed herself. I'd say, "We're good, just the two of us." But I saw how she looked at other people's children in the park, and it broke my heart. And then, after 7 years of marriage, a miracle happened. She got pregnant. We couldn't believe it, bought 10 tests, all positive. Nicole cried for 3 days. I was afraid to even breathe near her. When Sophia was born, I held that tiny bundle in my arms and felt the ground slip from under me. I was a father. We were parents. 2 years later, Oliver was born. A boy with his mother's eyes and my stubbornness. Our complete set. Our perfect family. I worked a lot, very hard. By then, I was a vice president at an investment bank. Money flowed like water. We bought a house in the suburbs, with a big garden where Nicole planted a flower bed. She quit her job. By then, she was selling her paintings pretty well through galleries, and devoted herself to the kids. I didn't force her, it was her choice. She said, "I want to be with them. I want to watch them grow. I'll have time to paint later." And she did paint. At home, at night, after the kids fell asleep. She set up a studio in the garage. It smelled of oil and turpentine. I loved going in there, hugging her from behind, watching new worlds being born on canvas. We were one. Our children grew up surrounded by love. We traveled every summer. Europe, Asia, national parks. We taught them to appreciate beauty, to be kind, to be honest. I'd look at Nicole, at our sleeping children in hotel rooms, and think, this is it. I did it. I built the perfect life. I didn't know the foundation was already cracking. You know how it is in horror movies? The hero walks down a dark corridor, hears strange noises, but tells himself, it's just the wind. Well, I was that hero. Walking down the corridor of my perfect life, not wanting to notice someone was already breathing down my neck. The first sign came about 3 years before the disaster. Nicole started going to New York frequently. On gallery business, she said. She had a new agent, some big-shot art dealer from Chelsea. She spoke of him with enthusiasm. Michael arranged an exhibition for me. Michael found a collector. Michael and I are working on a new project. I was happy for her. Honestly, after so many years at home, she was finally getting back into the art world. She lit up when talking about her new work. I thought, finally, she's passionate again. I even offered to go with her to New York, meet this Michael, but she'd brush it off. "Dan, it's boring meetings, you'd be bored. Besides, the kids. Who would stay with them?" The kids. They were always my excuse. I'd stay with Sophia and Oliver while she went on her meetings. I didn't mind. I loved spending time with the kids. We'd order pizza, watch movies, play video games. I thought we were growing even closer. The second sign was the phone. She started taking it everywhere. Even to the bathroom. Even when she went out to water the garden. She used to leave it on the kitchen counter all day, but now it was an extension of her hand. I'd see her typing messages and smiling. I'd ask, "Who's that?" She'd answer, "Oh, just a friend from the gallery, sent something funny." I didn't pry. I trusted her. We were a family. We couldn't have secrets. The third sign was sex. It became less frequent. At first, I thought it was age, fatigue, stress. We both worked hard, but then I noticed that even when we made love, she was somewhere else. She'd look away, close her eyes. I thought she was fantasizing. God, what an idiot I was. The fourth sign, she stopped painting. Her studio in the garage gathered dust. When I asked why she wasn't working, she'd say, "No inspiration. Creative block. It'll pass." It didn't. The fifth sign, the kids. Sophia once asked, "Dad, does Mom go to New York so often because she has a friend there?" The ground seemed to fall away. I asked, "What friend, honey?" She shrugged. "I don't know. She was on the phone and called someone, darling. Probably a friend." I chalked it up to a child's imagination. Told myself she misheard. That Nicole couldn't have called anyone, darling. We loved each other, didn't we? I was blind. I was stupid. I was a man so focused on building a career and family that I stopped noticing the family was already changing. It was a Friday. An ordinary Friday, like hundreds in my life. I came home from work early, around 6. Wanted to surprise Nicole, take her and the kids to a restaurant. Sophia loved Italian, Oliver loved pizza. No one was home. I went to the kitchen, got some water. And there, on the table, was her phone. She'd forgotten it, for the first time in 3 years. The phone pinged. An Instagram notification. I didn't want to look. Honestly, I didn't. I'm not the type to snoop through other people's phones. But my eyes fell on the screen, and I froze. A message from user at Michael_Fineart. "I miss your body. When are you coming?" I stood in the middle of the kitchen, phone in hand, reading that message. Over and over. "I miss your body. Not your conversation, not your smile, not your eyes. Your body." I started shaking. I opened Instagram. The password? I knew it, Oliver's birthday. She never changed her passwords. Why would she? She had no secrets. I opened the DMs. And I started reading. It wasn't just an affair. It was a parallel life. 2 years. 2 years of messages. 2 years of photos, poems, confessions. 2 years of her trips to New York. 2 years of my Friday nights with the kids while she was with him. 2 years of lies. I read, and my world crumbled. "You're the gentlest man I've ever met. Is he better than me? Don't compare. You're the air. He's just the house." I was just the house. Me, who worked like a dog to give that house a roof. Me, who loved her for 19 years. Me, who woke up with her every morning and fell asleep with her every night. I was just the house. And he was the air. Next, WhatsApp. There were photos. Intimate photos. My wife, the mother of my children, in lingerie I'd bought her for birthdays. For him. She was sending him pictures, smiling at the camera in a way she hadn't smiled at me in years. They discussed their meetings. Hotels. Next Thursday, I have a meeting with the gallery owner. Thursday. She'd been in New York every Thursday for the last 2 years. I thought it was a project. I picked up the kids from school, made dinner, helped with homework. She was in a hotel with him. There were even photos from our bedroom. Our bedroom, Carl. She was taking pictures on our bed and sending them to him. While I was in the shower. While I was washing off the day's work. She lay on our pillows and sent naked photos to another man. I don't know how long I sat in the kitchen. Time stopped, ceased to exist. I read and read, scrolling up and down, back and forth. 2 years of life condensed into 2 hours of reading. At 7:30 p.m., the front door clicked open. "Dad, we're home," Oliver yelled. The kids ran into the kitchen. Sophia, Oliver, and then Nicole. She saw me, saw the phone in my hand, and her face. I'll never forget that face. The color drained instantly. She turned white as a sheet. "Kids, go to your room," I said in a voice I didn't recognize. "Dad, but why?" Sophia started. "Go," I barked. They ran upstairs, frightened. I'd never raised my voice at them. Never. We were alone. Nicole stood in the doorway, in her light coat, bag over her shoulder. Beautiful. My wife. Mother of my children. A stranger. "Dan," she breathed. "Don't," I cut her off. I read everything. 2 years. Your hotels. Your photos. Your words. I'm just the house. He's the heir. I read everything. She crumpled to her knees. Right there on the hallway floor. Her bag fell, contents scattering. She sobbed, shook, reached for me. Forgive me, forgive me. I don't know what came over me. It was just an affair. He means nothing. I only love you. I looked at her and felt nothing. Not pain, not anger, not disgust. Emptiness. Like someone had scooped out all my insides and left a hollow cavity. Get up, I said. Don't humiliate yourself. You've humiliated us both enough. She didn't get up. She crawled towards me on her knees, grabbing my legs. Dan, please, we've been together so long, we're a family, we have children, we can't just destroy everything. We? I laughed bitterly. We didn't destroy anything. You destroyed it. For 2 years. Every day. Every time you looked me in the eye and said you loved me. Every time you kissed the kids and drove off to New York to see him. You destroyed it. Not we. I gently pushed her away with my foot. Not hard, just enough to step back. I walked to the stairs. Sophia, Oliver, come here. They came down, scared, tear-streaked. Sophia hugged Oliver. He buried his face in her shoulder. We're leaving, I said. Pack your backpacks. Just the essentials. For a few days. Dad, what about Mom? Sophia asked. Mom's staying. We'll talk later. I didn't look at Nicole. I went upstairs, threw some things in a bag, my laptop, chargers. Came back down. The kids stood in the hallway with their backpacks. Nicole was still on the floor, sobbing. Where are you going? She whimpered. Dan, don't take the kids, please. I walked past her, opened the door. Led the kids out. Buckled them in the car. Got behind the wheel. And drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw her run out into the street, screaming, waving her arms. I pressed the gas. We drove to my brother's place in the suburbs, about an hour away. I don't remember the drive. I only remember that I was silent the whole way, and the kids cried quietly in the back seat. My brother met us at the door. Mark is 42, 4 years older than me. We were never particularly close, but in tough times, he always showed up. He looked at me, at the crying kids, at my bag, and asked no questions. Just said, come in, the rooms are ready. We put the kids to bed. Sophia couldn't sleep for a long time. I sat with her, held her hand. She asked, Dad, did Mom do something bad? I said, yes, honey. Something very bad, but it's not your fault. Or Oliver's. We'll get through this. She fell asleep. I went out to the kitchen. Mark was sitting with a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses. Talk, he said. I talked. For 2 hours, I talked, and he listened. Didn't interrupt, didn't comment. Just listened and poured whiskey. When I finished, he said something I'll never forget. You know, Dan, the worst thing about this isn't the pain. The worst thing is the lost time. You won't get those 2 years back. You won't get back the faith you put in her. But you're alive. The kids are alive. That's what matters. I didn't sleep all night. Stared at the ceiling, replaying the messages in my head. Every word, every photo, I miss you. I pictured them together. Pictured her laughing with him. Pictured her letting him touch her. Pictured her saying the same words she used to say to me. By morning, I'd made a decision. I hired the best divorce lawyer in Boston. Sarah Bennett, a woman in her 50s, sharp-eyed, completely unsentimental. She listened, looked through the screenshots of the messages I'd taken, and said, Dan, you have every chance. Infidelity, 2 years, minor children. The court will be on your side. But be prepared for a dirty fight. Women in these situations often deny everything and try to vilify the husband. I nodded. I was ready for anything. Nicole started calling the very next day. Hundreds of calls, thousands of messages. First tearful. Come back, I'll die without you. The kids can't be without their mother, I love you. Then angry. You have no right to take the kids. I'll find a way to get you. You're destroying our family out of pride. Then tearful again. I didn't answer. All communication went through the lawyer. I lived at my brother's for 2 weeks. The kids went to the local school. I worked remotely. We didn't talk about their mother. I didn't know how to explain. The psychologist I consulted advised not to lie, but not to go into details. Tell the truth. Mom did something wrong. Dad is hurt. We're getting divorced, but you're not to blame, and we both love you. Sophia, who was 12 by then, understood more. One day she came to me and asked, Dad, does Mom have someone else? I froze. Why do you think that? I heard her on the phone once when she thought I was asleep. She called someone, my love. I thought it was you, but you were on a business trip. I hugged her, tight. I'm sorry, baby. You shouldn't have heard that. Is that why you left? Yes. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I don't want to see her. Sophia. No. She hurt you. She hurt us. I don't want to. I didn't argue. I understood her anger. I felt it myself. 3 weeks later, the lawyers arranged a meeting. We needed to discuss the divorce terms, asset division, custody. I agreed to meet Nicole in person, without the kids, at a neutral place. We met at a cafe near my office. She was there first, sitting at a table by the window, drinking coffee. When she saw me, she jumped up. She was wearing that blue dress, the one I loved, with the open shoulders. Her eyes were red, puffy. Clearly, she hadn't been sleeping. Dan, she started as I sat down. Let's get straight to the point, I interrupted. I don't have much time. She flinched as if struck. You don't even want to talk? 19 years together. Did you want to talk for the last 2 years? I asked. Did you want to talk when you were sleeping with him? When you were sending him photos from our bedroom? When you called him, the air, and me, the house? No, you didn't want to talk. You wanted me to be a blind fool who pays the bills and stays with the kids while you have your fun. She started crying, right there in the cafe. People turned to look. I didn't care. I understand now, she sobbed. I've been seeing a therapist. I'm working on myself. I'll do anything to get you back. I love you. You love me, I repeated. Tell me, when did you realize that? When you were fucking him in a hotel. When you were laughing at my naivety in your messages. When you were lying to me every single day. I wasn't laughing. I read it, Nicole. I read how you discussed that I never noticed anything. That I was too busy with work. That I was a convenient husband who provides but doesn't get in the way. I read it. She fell silent. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but she stopped sobbing. What do you want? She asked quietly. I want a divorce. I want the kids to live with me. You can see them on weekends, if they want. I want to keep the house, the one I bought while you were going to galleries. I want this nightmare to end. You're taking my kids away? I'm not taking them. They don't want to see you. Sophia told me. She heard your phone calls. Nicole went pale. She knows? She knows enough. And she doesn't want to see you. Oliver's still young, but he feels it. You've lost them, Nicole. You've lost all of us. I stood up and put an envelope with the draft agreement on the table. The terms are all there. Go over them with your lawyer. My position is firm. If you take me to court, I'll make those messages public. Think about whether you want that kind of notoriety. I walked away without looking back. Behind me, I heard her crying. The divorce was finalized in 6 months. Nicole tried to fight, but after my lawyer showed the judge the printed messages, she agreed to my terms. I kept the house, but she got a substantial settlement. The kids stayed with me. She got 2 Sundays a month, but only if the kids wanted to go. Sophia didn't want to. For the first 6 months, she refused to even talk about her mother. Oliver went a couple of times but came back silent and sad. I didn't ask. I was just there. The first year after the divorce was hell. I worked like a demon to avoid thinking. I'd wake up at 5, make the kids breakfast, take them to school, go to the office, work until 8, pick them up, help with homework, make dinner, put them to bed, and collapse. I slept little. My dreams were nightmares. I saw a therapist. Dr. Roberts, an elderly man with a gray beard and a calm voice, helped me piece myself together. He said, Dan, you've been through trauma. Not just infidelity, but the loss of illusion. You didn't just lose a wife, you lost the idea of your life. That's harder than it seems. Give yourself time. I did. Time passed, but it didn't get easier. I didn't seek relationships. The thought of another woman repulsed me. I couldn't imagine anyone else sleeping in my bed, sitting in my kitchen, talking to my kids. I became a monk, focused on work and the children. Sophia grew up. She was 14 and became my best friend. We could talk for hours, about school, books, boys. She liked some Tom from the parallel class. She was smart, strong, very much like me. Sometimes I'd look at her and see myself as a young man. Oliver grew up quiet, introverted. He loved to draw, like his mother. That hurt. Every time I saw him with a pencil, I remembered Nicole. But I didn't forbid it. I bought him paints, canvases, took him to exhibitions. Art was his passion. I wouldn't take that from him. We became a team, the 3 of us against the world. A year and a half after the divorce, I received a letter from Nicole. A real one, paper, by mail. An envelope, her handwriting. With trembling hands, I opened it. Dan, I know you'll probably throw this away without reading it. But I had to write. I had to say what I couldn't say when we met. I was wrong. I was blind, stupid, selfish. I destroyed what took 19 years to build. I destroyed our family. Not a day goes by that I don't wake up thinking about it. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know you won't forgive me. I just want you to know, I love you. I always have. What happened was madness, an attempt to feel young again, to feel desired. I'm not making excuses. I'm just explaining. I broke up with him. A month after the divorce. He turned out to be like all the others, just wanted fun. When I became free, he ran. Said he wasn't ready for a relationship with a woman with 2 kids. I live alone now, renting a small apartment in Cambridge, where we started. Sometimes I go to that coffee shop where we met. The same bartender still works there, though he's really old now. I sit and remember how you first kissed me in the rain. I'm not asking to come back. I know it's impossible. I just want you to know, I regret it. Every minute of every day. If ever, in many years, you want to talk, I'll be waiting. If not, I'll understand. I love you, always, Nicole. I read the letter 3 times. Set it down, sat in silence. Then I got up, walked to the fireplace, and threw it in. The paper flared, curled, blackened. In a minute, only ashes remained. I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to talk. There was no anger left in me, but no love either. Only emptiness. And ashes. Time passed. 2 years after the divorce. The kids were growing up. I was getting used to life without her. Almost. One summer, I took the kids to New York. Sophia wanted Broadway. Oliver wanted the Museum of Modern Art. We were walking through Soho, eating ice cream, laughing. And then I saw her. She was sitting at a street-side cafe, at a small table, with a cup of coffee and a book. Alone. In a light dress, hair down, streaks of gray already showing. She'd aged, but she was still beautiful. I froze. The kids were ahead, not noticing. She looked up and met my eyes. For a second, the world stopped. New York roared around us, taxis sped by, tourists laughed, and we just stared at each other across the street. She didn't stand up, didn't wave, just looked. In her eyes, there was such longing, such pain, that my heart clenched. Sophia turned around. Dad, you okay? Nothing, honey. Let's go. I turned away and kept walking. I didn't look back. That night, in the hotel, I sat for a long time staring out the window. I thought about her, about us, about what could have been, about what never would be. I didn't regret my choice. But that night, I understood something. Even when love leaves, its shadow stays with you forever. You learn to live with that shadow. You get used to it. But it's always there, at the edge of your vision. Now, 3 years have passed. 3 years since the day I left that house. 3 years since I became a single father, a businessman, a man without a past. The kids and I moved. Sold that house, too many memories. Bought a new one, in a different neighborhood, with a big garden and a studio for Oliver on the first floor. He paints obsessively now. He has talent, real talent. His work has been shown in the school gallery. I look at it and think, you can't escape genetics. In a good way. Sophia started college. In New York, just as she dreamed. When I dropped her off, I cried. She laughed. Dad, it's not forever, I'll visit. I know, but it was another goodbye. To her childhood, to our close bond, to the life where it was just the 3 of us. She left. The house grew quiet. Oliver's the only kid at home now, but he's a teenager, always in his studio or with friends. I'm alone. Well, with Louis. Yes, I got a dog, a golden retriever, like I always wanted. Louis sleeps at my feet and asks for nothing but love and food. I wasn't actively looking for a relationship. But life, as they say, happens while you're making plans. Her name is Julia. We met at a conference in Chicago. She's a lawyer, specializing in intellectual property. Smart, sharp-tongued, with short hair and whiskey-colored eyes. We argued about some patent case during a coffee break. She insisted I was wrong. I insisted she was wrong. Turned out we were both right, just in different ways. We laughed, exchanged business cards. A month later, she wrote. Asked if I'd like to get coffee sometime when I was in New York. I went often to see Sophia. I replied, yes. We met, talked for 3 hours. About work, life, kids. She's divorced too. Her husband cheated. 3 years of marriage, then divorce, then a long recovery. She understood my pain without a word. We took it slow, met once a month, then more often. I introduced her to the kids, carefully, gradually. Sophia was jealous at first, then accepted her. Oliver liked her immediately. She paints watercolors too, and they could talk about it for hours. We've been together for a year now. She doesn't live with us. She has her own apartment in Chicago, her own life. But she visits often, and the house fills with her laughter, her scent, her warmth. With her, I feel alive. Not like in my youth, with that burning passion. Differently, calmly, safely, like the sun finally coming out after a long winter. We don't talk about the future. Don't make plans. We just live in the present, cherishing every moment together. After what we've both been through, we know the value of now. The other day, I found that old napkin. The one with the cat in glasses. The one Nicole drew in the coffee shop 19 years ago. It was in a box of old photos I stumbled upon while cleaning out the garage. I looked at it for a long time. At that silly cat, at her uneven handwriting at the bottom. Thanks for the coffee and the smile. Nicole, I didn't cry. I just smiled, put the napkin back in the box and closed the lid. The past stays in the past. It made me who I am. But I don't live there anymore. Today is Saturday. I'm sitting on the porch of my house, drinking coffee, watching Louis chase squirrels in the garden. Oliver's in his studio, music blasting so loud the walls shake. Sophia's supposed to visit this weekend, promised to bring her new boyfriend. We'll see what he's like. Julia's in Chicago, but we'll video call tonight, like we always do. She'll say, I miss you. I'll say, me too. And it'll be the truth. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't build castles in the air anymore. I just live, breathe, love my kids, work. Sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes I laugh. Nicole still appears in my dreams sometimes. In those dreams, we're young, just met, our whole lives ahead of us. I wake up with a feeling of quiet sadness. But it fades as soon as Louis nudges my hand with his nose. I've forgiven her. Not her, the woman she used to be. That Nicole, who drew cats on napkins, who waited up for me at night, who gave birth to my children. That Nicole is dead, and this one, the stranger, I've let go. You know what I've learned in these years? That happiness isn't the absence of pain. Happiness is the ability to keep living when the pain comes. It's the ability to get up in the morning, even when you don't want to. It's the ability to love, even after you've been betrayed. I'm not a hero. I'm just a man who walked through hell and survived. I have scars, I have ashes behind me, but I'm alive. I breathe. I love. To anyone reading this who's going through something similar, hang in there. Don't isolate yourself. Cry if you need to. Scream if you have to. See a therapist, don't be ashamed. Talk to friends. Get a dog. They'll listen and won't judge. The main thing, don't stop. Life goes on, and one day you'll wake up and realize the sun is shining just as brightly as it did when you were a child. And that you're ready to live again. Thanks for listening, Reddit. Your stories once helped me. I hope mine helps someone.